Hey, this is Coach Mac, Paul McLendon. I'm the junior high tennis coach, and I have made this video for people that are interested in uh, in being a part of the junior high tennis team. A lot of people don't know anything about tennis, and our junior high program. So I made this video to give you some information to decide if you would like to apply for the junior high tennis team. So I'm just going to give you some information here to help you out. And let's start off with a form that will be in the front office. It also will be in my room. It's an application form. It has the tennis team on one side, and on the other side of it, it's going to have the application for the tennis team. This will give you information similar to what I'm giving you now. I'll just be able to elaborate on some things a little bit more here in this video. So if you're interested in consideration for the junior high tennis team, you need to be a seventh or eighth grade boy or girl. Okay, I take boys and girls and seventh and eighth grade. And typically our season starts after track is over. We'll actually begin practice the first week after spring break. And I think there'll be one more district track meet at that time. You do not have to be in athletics to be on the tennis team. And that's because we do not have tennis courts here. So we cannot practice during athletics class like all the other teams. So it makes it a little tougher because you're going to have to be able to get a ride over to the high school courts in the evenings after school. And so if that's something that you cannot do, you can't get a ride up to the courts after school and then be picked up later, then you don't need to be on the tennis team. And so that's just one thing might eliminate you from doing that. There are also some other requirements that I'm about to go over right now that will also eliminate some other people. So once you get to the point in this video when you see that that's not anything that you could do or you're interested in doing, then you could just cut this off. But let's look at our what we have here. As someone that I'm considering, and by the way, I will only have room for about 30 players. And that's with just me by myself and dealing with 30 players, which is hard to do. And so I'll probably have 60 or 70 kids apply every year. So, I have to choose, who's going to be on the team or not. Now, typically I do not have tryouts. And that's because most of my players, if they're a beginning player, they've never played tennis before in their life. It's not like, basketball and stuff like that, where you've actually had some experience and that's why you're going out for the team. Well, in tennis, no one knows how to play tennis, sort of. So, I pick my teams from your applications. I talk to your teachers. I look and see if you can throw and catch according to what you've written down on your application, and then we go from there. So, to be able to be eligible, you have to have passed all your classes so far this school year, and you are currently passing. You turn in your work, and you're a good student. Now, I have this every year. I have people that apply for the tennis team. I do a grade check on them, and they've already failed 2 classes this year. Don't apply if you failed anything this year. You can cut the video off now. I'm not interested in you. And the reason is because we feed players into the high school program. And, we've had this happen. We develop a player. It takes us years. They become a good player. They get in the starting lineup on the high school team. And then we have a match coming up, and now they're ineligible because they failed a class. So if you're the type of student that has struggles, passing, then we don't want to take that time to develop you. You can do that on your own, but not in, the tennis team. And I will talk to your teachers about how you do in class. Also, we need to have good behavior in class. In other words, if you've gotten office referrals this year, don't apply. If you get a lot of tags, if your team does tags and that kind of thing, I'm not interested in you. When I talk to your teachers and I say, well, how are they in class? Well, okay, they don't pay much attention and they do talk while I'm trying to teach. Well, I'm not interested in you because I don't want that to spill over into my lessons because, I need to practices. I need, everyone's attention because I have to deal with a whole bunch of kids in a short amount of time. And it's all business whenever we're out there on the courts and I'm working with you. Also, number 3 here, have already taken tennis lessons from an instructor or you're willing to learn as a beginner. All right. Now, Tennis lessons from an instructor. I'm talking about taking lessons from a camp that I've done, which I know recently with the COVID, we haven't had as many camps as normal, and or from Scotty McFarland, the high school Coach Mac. He's also Coach Mac. He coaches the high school team. And or you could have taken lessons from Bonnie Bro, a lady that teaches lessons here. You could have taken lessons from a country club or maybe another school if you transferred over. And you need to put that on your application if yes, I've taken lessons before, because that will make a difference on who I select. And let's say you've never had lessons, but you're going to need some previous athletic experience. Like you played softball or baseball or volleyball, or you can play catch. Let's say you've never actually played any of those sports, but you can throw and catch a ball, right? And you're going to have enough throwing skills to be able to toss up a tennis ball and to serve it across the net, and that's necessary. You're also going to need to be able to run to an anticipated location and return a ball that's hit to you. Well, that's like catching a ball. So if you played softball and baseball, put that on your application that you can throw and catch, because that will make a big difference on you learning to serve and also moving to hit a ball hit towards you. Now, if you cannot throw and catch, and I haven't done this in the past, the last 2 years that we just had an instructional program in our junior high team because we've had no one to play. When we got redistricted, no one in our district plays tennis. And the teams that we used to play as independent teams were put in other districts. We had no one to play for the last 2 years. So really for the last 2 years, ours has been an instructional program. But now this year, I have found some people that we can play. So I'm going to have to take players who've never hit a tennis ball and in 3 weeks get them to where they can play, a game, which is not going to be easy if you cannot throw and catch. So I'm looking for people this year that can toss the ball up and you can hit it and it will go over the net from the baseline. And at the end of this video, I'm going to turn my camera around and I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what this would look like so that you have an idea. And if you're not sure, you should go out and try it at Matthews Park. And I'll have some rackets you can check out from me and, some tennis balls if you want to go out one evening and just see if you can do this if you're not sure. Now, if you played baseball or softball or volleyball, then you can probably do this already without even having to try it. Okay. You're going to have to be able to get your own transportation to and from practice at the high school courts. So you'll have to, and here are lessons times. Can practice most Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Those are our practice evenings. And from March 15th to April 29th, we go about 8 weeks. Players will be grouped for 1 hour practice times. You're going to be there for 45 minutes with me. And then the last 15 to 30 minutes, however long you want to stay, you're going to be practicing serving or playing on some other courts. That way I give you some individual time and you have some time to work on your own. And they're tentatively right now set up for 5 o'clock for returning players. And these are people that have played on last year's team or you have playing experience because you've had lessons before. In other words, you're not a beginner. And that's for 5 o'clock. Hopefully all my returning players can come at 5 o'clock. If you can't, then that could be a problem. And then I have 5:45 and 6:30 practice times for beginners. And so if you're a beginner, you're going to have to be able to come at 5:45 or 6:30. Hopefully you can come at one of those two times. If you cannot, then maybe you can't do tennis. Practice times may be adjusted once the team is selected. So once I see how many players I've got, who I've got that can come win, I may have to adjust these times a little bit. Unfortunately, I cannot go earlier than 5. Like last year, we started at 4 because they didn't have that many kids out there practicing for the high school. This year, they have more players. They're going to use all 8 courts with their practices until 5 o'clock. And then so I can't get on till 5 this year. So it makes our practices a little bit later. Okay. I'm interested in people that would like to continue tennis in high school after this season is over. I just don't want someone to come out there because some of your friends are playing tennis. I want you to come out there because you're interested in learning to play the game and see if you like it because you're interested in moving up to the high school team. That's what we do here. We're here to feed into the high school program. We did not have a junior high program for a while. I've coached tennis for 40 years. I've coached on the junior high level, high school. I coached in college. And whenever I left the high school coaching here, they dropped the junior high tennis team. We did it for free. Whenever we were coaching high school, we had junior high tennis teams. But then when I left, they ended up dropping the team. And part of that was because we lost other teams we could play with. We got redistricted and we just lost our teams to play. When I moved back over here to the junior high to teach here in 8th grade, then the high school coaches asked me to start up the team again. And so I did. And it is a challenge because I've got 30 players that, and one of me, and most of them don't know anything. So it's very difficult to do what we do, or what I do anyway. And it is challenging, but hopefully it's going to get some players interested in tennis, give them some skills. And then whenever they go to high school, they're going to sign up for tennis class. By the way, in high school, you can take a tennis class because there are courts there, and you can take a tennis class during the day. And also, the high school team plays all year long. They play fall tennis and team tennis. It's the only sport that does that. And also, it's the only sport where boys and girls play on the same team. You compete on the same team. So it's a fun thing to do in high school, and that we have good high school coaches. All right, you're going to have a current athletic physical and UIL paperwork on file that is current for this year. Okay, in other words, it would be good if you played on the team last year. Your physical is still good. In other words, they keep them for 2 years now. But you will have to fill out new UIL paperwork. You have to do that every year. And I'll have a video. If you're selected the team, I'll have a video on how to do that. If you're applying as a new player, you may want to wait on your physical to see if you're chosen for the team. And that makes sense, right? So just wait until you're chosen because, again, I'll have 60 or 70 players apply. I can only take 30. So a lot of players will not be chosen, right? And whenever I do select the team, there's an application deadline I'm about to show you in a minute. But when I do select the team, I will invite you to join a tennis team Google Classroom, and that's how I'm going to communicate with you. I'll put videos on there and other stuff, and I will invite you to that classroom. When you join it, that means you're on the team, and I'll do that by February 25th. Unfortunately, not all applicants will be chosen, and I hate to do that, but I can't deal with 60 or 70 kids, beginners, by myself. After teaching, I go to school to teach at 6 in the morning. If I just have 30 players, I'll get through at 8 o'clock at night. So it's a long day, and I can't keep going till midnight trying to teach 60 or 70 kids. I mean, that's just the way it is. And here's your application. This is what you'll see on the back of the other sheet. This is what's on the front side. This is on the back side. I've got your name, ID, and all that. I'll need your student email. So put how you receive emails from school at livingstonist.com. I need that because when I have you join my team, I've got to put in your email. Also, if you have a cell phone, I would like your cell phone number just in case I have to reach you. If you want to put that down there. Down here, and also I need you to circle what science teacher you have because that's who I'll make contacts with because everybody has science in one of these teachers probably. And so on this line above, I need you to put right there contact information. Put your mom's phone number there and put her name. Like if your mother's name is Ellen, then write Ellen, give me the phone number and say, that's my mom, okay, or that's my stepdad, whoever this person is. I also need a secondary number down here for someone else if you have one, hopefully. All right, here's the things that you're going to be answering on here. I've watched the junior high tennis video where you're watching it now. You can put yes to that. I have passed all my classes this year and am currently passing. If you have not passed stuff, you could just take this. You don't even need to fill out an application. Everything here should say yes. If you're not passing right now, or you've failed something so far this year, then you don't even need to apply. Okay, I display good behavior. You don't have office referrals or something, and I have to check that out with your teachers. If you don't act right in the classroom, you're not going to act right in practice, and I don't want you out there. Okay, yes, if I was on the tennis team last year, or I've taken tennis lessons already from a tennis instructor, right? So like if you've had lessons for 2 years with Bonnie Bro, then put that. If you had a camp with summer camp with Coach Mack or with me, my summer camp, then you're going to put, yes, I've had some tennis experience. No, if you're a beginner, right there. Okay, I can get my own transportation to and from practice at the high school courts. And I have this every year. I have someone that'll say, yeah, I want to play tennis. They fill out the application. I select them. And then I inform them they're on their team. They tell their mom they're going to play on the tennis team. And they need to go to practice at 5 o'clock, 5:45. And their mom says, oh, I can't get you up to the tennis courts. We live 15 miles out of town. You ride the bus home. I can't get you back up there. So if that's the case, you may not be able to play tennis. You have to have a ride. And some people carpool, and that's fine. You just have to make sure you have arrangements. Okay, practice days. This is really important. Circle the days and times below that you can practice, okay? And then X out the days and times that you cannot usually practice. And if you're a beginner, do not circle a 5 o'clock on here. If you've never had any playing experience, don't put 5 o'clock down there, all right? You need to put 5:45 or 6:30. All right, now, if you can never play on Mondays because you have dance on every Monday, right, and you cannot play on Mondays, you're going to X out 5:45 and X out 6:30. Now, maybe you can't play at 5:45. Maybe you can come at 6:30, or maybe a few minutes late, might be all right. And you're going to say because you have dance, all right? Tuesdays, Thursdays, and again on those days, circle everything that's good for you. If you're a returning player, I'm hoping everyone will circle 5 o'clock on all 3 days. That would be great because then I can get you ready to play matches this year. Last year we didn't play any matches. This year we are. Okay, so I'm going to have to spend more time getting you used to playing. I need you all together to do that. Okay, I have a current athletic physical on file from this year or last year. And if you're applying as a beginner, you should wait and see if you're selected the team. I'm interested in continuing tennis after this year is over. So I need you to answer all those questions. Turn this application to Coach Mack. My room is C121. Okay, it's across from Miss Chaka's room and Miss Brumley's room on the first floor in the science wing. And by Friday, February 19th at 3:15. So if you want to be considered, I need that application in. You also may turn it in the front office and they'll get them to me, and that's not a problem. Applications will also be there in the front office if you want to just run by the front office and pick one up, or they'll be in my classroom, either one. All right, so let's look at just some dates here. Applications are due Friday, February 19th. Team selections are made by Thursday, February 20th, and players informed with an invitation to join the tennis team Google Classroom. And I'll have a new video on there for you and your parents to watch at that time. And then we need physicals and UIL paperwork are due by Thursday, March 4th. That's before spring break. I need you to have all that stuff done, right? Because you can't compete if I don't have a UIL paperwork filled in. And I'll give you a video on how to do all this. It's a little confusing. And then physicals, again, if you don't have a current one from last year or this year, you'll have to have a physical done once you've made the team. And you'll need to have that done. I want it done by this date, before spring break. I don't want to have to come and you show up for practice and say, sorry, you can't practice because I don't have a physical on file where you have been approved by the trainer that says you can practice. You have to be cleared to practice. And I've had players that show up and they don't have their physicals. Well, you can't practice. That's just the way it is. So get it done. Right. Practices start Monday, March 15th. That's the Monday after spring break. Okay. All right. So let's look at some things here. Let me just look and see if I've left something off. Let me look here. I've got some notes just to make sure I'm not leaving anything off. Okay. And again, if you have not had tennis lessons before, that's not really a problem, but you need to be able to throw and catch. So if you can throw and catch and serve a ball, so like I'm about to show you here in a minute, then you're okay. But if you never hit a ground stroke, what's called a forehand or a backhand, or hit volleys at the net or overheads, I don't have a problem with that, right? And don't feel like you need to go out and try to hit a bunch of balls. I have players that do this. They'll say, ooh, I just got selected to the tennis team, but I don't know anything. And they go out to Matthews Park and hit 1,000 balls off the backboard, trying to get ready. Well, you just have 1,000 repetitions of how to hit the ball wrong. And when I get you out there, then that means that I'm going to have a hard time teaching you right because I've got to break 1,000, motor patterns that are wrong and then start you over, right? I'd rather you not just go out and hit ground strokes. Now, if you want to go out and practice some serves, if you'll practice them correctly, like I'm about to show you, then that will be, okay. But, I don't care if you haven't, really practiced before or played before, and that's okay. You will not need any equipment for tennis. I have all the equipment. I have $2,000 worth of rackets that I own. I've got tennis balls. I got everything you need. Only thing you need to bring to probably a water bottle to practice, right? And the only expense will be if you buy a shirt. And I do require you to buy a shirt. It'll cost you about $15. They're real nice. I don't have one up here with me, but it's a green shirt. It's got Livingston Tennis on the front. On the back, it has your last name printed on the back. They're really nice shirts. And by you paying for them, you get to keep them. I see high school players all the time that are wearing their shirts, from junior high, even, in high school. Okay. COVID. Just remember this. If you are on the team, we're going to have to deal with COVID regulations. You will have to wear a gaiter or whatever it is that you have when you're together within 6 feet of each other. When you're on the courts playing and you're outside, you don't have to, you pull it down. That's what most high school team does. They just pull them down when they're actually playing. When they come in together, then they pull them up, and that's what we will have to abide by. Okay. I think I've covered most everything. I'm going to do something really weird here. I'm going to show you how to hit a serve, right? So here's my tennis court right here. Now to hit a serve, this is what you would do. So at Matthews Park, you're standing, you get behind the court. This is what's called the baseline. It's a big, thick line here at the end, and it has a little mark in the middle. You normally stand on one side or the other of it, okay, the right or the left of the center mark. And you're going to stand there, and you're going to get sideways to the net. You're not facing the net. You're sideways to the net. If you're right-handed, your left foot is forward. I'm about to show you. And then you're going to toss the ball up with your right-handed. With your left hand, you're going to strike it with your racket on the strings, ovally. And then it's going to go over the net in the air and land over here. That would be a good serve. Now, what I would like you to be able to do is be able to toss it up and strike it. And you'd be surprised how many people cannot toss a ball up in the air and actually anywhere where they can get it because they're using their left hand. And then also be able to then strike it with their racket, because it's not like catching it with your hand or hitting it with your hand. The racket's like 2 feet past your hand, so it's a little more difficult. But I need to see if you can actually toss it up, or you need to see if you can toss it up and you can strike it. Now, if it goes in this correct chord over here, then I'm not concerned about that. But if you got to be able to hit it for one, you got to be able to toss it correctly and then strike it, and it goes somewhere over the net over here. If you can do that, I can make you into a tennis player in 3 weeks to be able to play matches. If you cannot, I will not be able to make you into a tennis player that can play. And that means that you will not be playing matches. And probably by the end of the season, you still won't be able to hit serves over the net, and you won't be able to play games. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it easier on you and give me a better quality player that I start with. All right, so I'm going to do this. This is going to be kind of weird what I'm going to attempt to do, but let me stretch out my picture here. Okay, let me put it up here. See if I can stretch it out. Is it going to let me stretch it out? Yeah, I could stretch as big as I could get it. All right, and let me move it over here. So here I am right here. All right, so I'm going to turn around my camera, which is going to be very strange here, but let me try it. All right, so I'm going to turn my camera around. Sorry for the little brief period of craziness here. All right, and I'm going to get up here and get in a position where you can see me, and I can see that you can't see me at all. All right, so let me get here. I'm about to have kids come in the classroom here. This is going to be a little crazy. All right, so here I am. All right, so I'm in my picture. All right, and I'm actually right down. Isn't this weird how I'm doing this? You can't see my racket, can you? But the baseline is right here. The net is right over there. Okay, you can see where I'm pointing. This isn't working very well. All right, I've got a tennis racket in my hand right here. Move up a little bit. Maybe you can get a little bit better picture of what's going on. Okay, maybe this is good. All right, I'm watching myself on the screen up here. Pretty crazy. I feel like a weather forecaster. Anyway, so I'm here. I'm sideways to the net. The net's up there. I have the racket in my hand. The whole motion looks something like this. I don't know how much you can see. And I'm going to have to choke up on my racket because I could hit the ceiling. But I'm here. It goes down like this. They toss it up with their left hand. They swing and hit it. So from the side, if I'm not going to hit anything here, it looks something like this. Is the whole motion. I toss it and I hit it. All right, now, all right, so I'm going to suggest instead of doing this whole motion, which is complicated, you just put the racket on your shoulder. So here I am. I've got the racket on my shoulder. I've got the ball in my left hand right here and holding it in my fingers. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be like this. I'm sideways to the net. The baseline's pull up in front of my left foot. I'm going to drop my hand down, and I'm going to toss it up and let it go. That's called a toss. And I'm going to toss it up. And I want to toss it up about where my racket will be. So you might put your racket up and say, I need to toss it that high. Okay, if you will wait outside, I'm doing something, okay? So here we go. Sorry, I got kids coming in the classroom. So I'm here, and I'm going to toss it up, okay? And then I'm going to swing, and I'm going to hit it, all right? Now, I'm using a foam ball. A regular tennis ball is harder. I don't think I'm going to break anything over here, but I'm going to show you what to do. So I'm right here. I've choked up on my racket. You could choke up. That'd be okay if you're just starting. Don't choke up too far. But I've got to choke up, so I won't hit the ceiling. So I'm here. So I'm going to be here. So I can kind of get where you can see my toss. Okay, so I'm going to be here. Toss it, and I'm going to hit it, okay? All right, and so that's how to hit a serve, okay? So I'm going to be here, okay? I'm going to toss it up, I'm going to hit it, and it's going to go over the net, the other side. And if you can't hit it over the net, or you toss it, it's going all over the place, and you can't even hit it because you're searching for the ball, right? Then, I don't know about how quickly you can learn tennis. Let me show you what it looks like from this side. So if I was here, I can't serve this one into the screen. But anyway, I'm going to be here. I'm going to toss it. I'm going to swing, and I'm going to hit like this. Follow through on my left side. Different than volleyball. You're going to follow through across to your left, just like you're throwing. If you can throw, you can probably serve. All right. So anyway, that's stuff that you need to know for the tennis team. If you now are still interested after watching this video, then if you will come by my room, get an application, go to the front office, get one, fill it out, return it back to me. All right. If you have any questions, come see me at school sometime, maybe right after school is out, and I can answer those questions for you. All right. Thanks.